I'm just loving that open, aren't you? I think that's very clever. Anyway, hi once again, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the 19th Hole, a podcast for golfers. That's what we're all about. I'm Dennis Silvers. So happy to be your host. Again, coming to you live from the fabulous Rigel Studios, right in the heart of Las Vegas, just moments away from the iconic Las Vegas Strip. We've got some good weather going. We've been a little cold, been a little windy, but certainly playable. And I know in a lot of other parts of the country, it is freezing out there. You know, it's snow on the ground. Nobody's playing golf, they're skiing, they're snowboarding or whatever. That's one of the great things about living here in Las Vegas, in Southern Nevada. Pretty much play all damn year around. Once in a while you get some rain, wind or whatever, but for the most part it is pretty good, and that's why the golf courses, all of them, and it's great to see, are just jammed packed. They're loving it. They're doing tons of business. Their tee times are like booked from here to tomorrow. Golf sales, as you know, are going through the roof. Which is a good thing. So I keep saying, take it with a grain of salt, because hopefully someday soon, when things get back to normal, I think you're going to see a drop in golf club sales, of course. You're going to see a drop in the amount of rounds that golf courses are doing. That's because people are going back to work as they should be. So, while on one hand it's good, but I'm hoping for things to return to normal, and let's get past this, let's get through this, and the whole thing is just a mess. Meantime, there's been golf on television to watch, and of course magazines to read, DVDs to look at, and tapes to look at, and we have a fantastic guest on the show for you today that has been a major part of writing about golf for many, many years. Guy Yoakam just retired after, I think it's 36 years as a senior writer for Golf Digest. Very well respected, and he has seen it all. He has seen it all. So I'm looking very much forward to talking to Guy, to picking his brains about some of the players he knows personally, some of the players he's written about. He's authored 7 books, for crying out loud, 4 about the U.S. Open. So he knows from what he speaks, and you're really, really going to enjoy this guy. And I am looking forward to it. So before we take our first commercial break and come back with Guy, of course, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, as well as many other social media platforms. When you go there, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, share on YouTube, give us a couple of likes on Facebook, whatever. That all helps the cause, okay? And then later on in the show, second break, we've got an unbelievably great golf tip, as we do for you every single week on the 19th Hole podcast. So with that being said, let's step away, take a short break. When we come back, we will return with the aforementioned Mr. Guy Yoakam. So stay with us.
Dr. Christopher Choi has long been recognized as one of the top concierge doctors in Las Vegas. Dr. Choi and the entire staff at Comprehensive Wellness Center have earned the reputation of unsurpassed medical care and service to all of their patients. In a continuing effort to always advance his practice, Dr. Choi is now offering an additional service to his current patients, as well as new patients. It's the latest, most advanced laser therapy treatment available. It's true, being in great physical health is very important, but so is the mental boost you get when you know you look your best. Whether you want to lose those wrinkles, diminish those acne scars, decrease pigmentation, skin tightening, or permanent fat reduction, this procedure is the answer. You'll have peace of mind knowing there is no actual surgery and no downtime. You just get results with these amazing laser treatments. You might wonder if it hurts? The answer is no. All you feel is a slight tingly feeling during the procedure. You'll love the results. Call Comprehensive Wellness Center at 702-463-8080.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence (AI) has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
All right, welcome back to more of the 19th Hole podcast, right here coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. If you haven't been to Las Vegas at all or for a while, you need to come. We've got some great golf courses. We've got some great properties here. Weather's pretty damn good all the time. We've got some stuff to do, even though a lot of things are semi-closed because of COVID, but don't sell yourself short. Come into Las Vegas and play some golf. All of the golf courses are open. They would love to host you for a couple of days, and you'll have a good time. I guarantee it. Even come in studio and watch the show, for crying out loud. But anyway, let me tell you a little bit about Guy Yoakam, and we're going to bring him up. I may be a little bit slow because as I was writing out the questions for Guy, opened a can of beer, and guess what? You could see all of the stuff. It like spilled on all the cards, and I had to let it dry. So you know what it's like, reading through some dry spots on with ink and stuff, so I may stumble a little bit. But anyway, let's bring up Guy Yoakam, our special guest, and so pleased to have him on the show. Guy, thanks for taking the time out and coming on the show. I'm really looking forward to talking with you and getting some of your expertise, some of your insight. Let me tell you a little bit about Guy. Guy is many things. Okay, he's a writer, he's a book author, he's a speaker, he's a former senior writer, as I mentioned, for Golf Digest for over 3 decades. He has written about and collaborated with most of the game's greatest players. His celebrated My Shot interview series includes up close and personal, first-person portrayals of 125 players, teachers, as well as celebrities and athletes in other sports other than golf. He's written a total of 7 books, as I mentioned, 4 with U.S. Open winners. So he's got quite a great background. So Guy, let me kick it off this way and ask you, what are the guidelines, what are the parameters for you personally, whether or not to write about something, whether it be a person, whether it be a venue, whether it be a tournament? Does it have to include having drama or some kind of scenario of interest? How do you decide what the hell you're going to write about?
I'd say it's, first of all, you want them to be a notable person, a good player that usually is recognizable, that has like a tremendous resume, a lot of accomplishments, achievements. But then sometimes, you want to go off the beaten path and maybe introduce people to individuals who are maybe a little bit less known, but have an interesting story or just good talkers and storytellers. And, the woods are full of people like that in golf. And so it's sort of been a blend for me. I think the My Shot series, I think we're at 125, 130 people, and most of them are high profile. It does cover most of the great players and stuff in history. I missed very few, but there's also a few individuals in there that maybe people didn't know about that are really interesting, compelling people.
Well, I agree with you, and let me ask you this, Go, because you just brought something to mind. Back in the day, you had really, really great personalities that were on tour, people that loved to talk, that loved to express their feelings. They were very animated and so on and so forth. I think, though, in today's professional golf, especially with the men, Guy, you don't have that as much. You don't have the same kind of personalities, the same type of ability to give you great stories. And a lot of times I feel it's kind of like pulling teeth. Do you agree with that? Am I wrong? Am I missing the case here?
No, I agree. We don't want to harp too much about the good old days and how everything was better back then. But I would say one thing I noticed going along is that the older people, older individuals, people like Jack Nicklaus, for example, Tom Weiskopf, Lee Trevino especially, people like that, their backgrounds were different. The lives that they led back in the 50s, the 40s, the 70s even, they came from such disparate, different backgrounds. There were great players who came out of caddy yards or who kind of hustled, struggled their way through many tours and things to get to reach stardom. So their backgrounds are a little bit more varied and rough home. And they have kind of more stories to tell, if you will. I don't think that they're inherently more interesting, but the lives they led are more interesting. Players today, invariably, usually, not all the time, but usually, they sort of follow a certain template. They usually come from somewhat affluent backgrounds. They played AJGA or sort of a junior circuit of some kind. They went to private schools, a lot of them, and of course went through college. So I would say that probably accounts for maybe 80% of tour players out there these days, whereas back in the day, hardly anybody went to college,
Yeah.
So I do think that you just get more interesting, kind of more organic, textural experiences out of people.
Yeah,
So,
I could not agree more, 100%. There's a huge difference if you see some young tour players that are being interviewed today on camera as opposed to, like you say, Weiskopf, Trevino, Watson, you can name 1,000 of them. I just think there's a big difference. Before I get into the next question, Guy, let me ask you, what got you interested in journalism as a whole, number one, and then what got you interested in golf?
well, I'm just basically a fan. I think that's how most journalists, most golf writers got into it. They loved reading newspapers, loved reading books. At heart, they're fans. Inside there's a lot of little kid in all of us, and I just remember. As a kid growing up in Salt Lake City, just hanging out at the golf course and seeing sort of these local heroes and then reading about them and what golf there was on TV, just sort of devouring that. But it was true with all sports. And why journalism? Geez, I don't know. I fell into that kind of by accident. I was like 18 years old. I didn't know what else I wanted to do. But I just one day, I just remember picking up a newspaper, and it occurred to me how I always sort of idolized, if you will, just sports writers. It seemed like they, in my 18-year-old brain, I thought, geez, for one thing, they get into all these sporting events for free, and they get to meet all of these great athletes and celebrities. And their name, it's kind of sexy to see your name in a byline. That can kind of be a thrill.
Yeah.
So I just chose that and went to school and took a lot of classes, worked on the student newspaper, all that sort of thing. And it just kind of went from there, but it quickly became apparent that I would specialize in golf. That was the game I loved most. And I just devoured it all, the history, all of it, and did okay at it.
Yeah, you did. Who got you interested in golf, Guy? Who got you the bug? Who got you into it?
Yeah, it happened by accident. I certainly didn't come from an affluent background. I grew up in the same neighborhood that Tony Finau grew up in. It was sort of the poor, middle class, working class area of Salt Lake City. And there was a public golf course there. And as a kid, I used to go over there and look for golf balls, which you could sell back to the pro shop or sell to golfers. I was always getting chased off of there. But it was really, honestly, green fees were like $1.25 for 18 holes, but my allowance was only $1, and I didn't want to spend it on one round of golf. Golf really, even then, it was kind of a game. I still think it's true that is kind of for more well-heeled people. It's the equipment costs money. Green fees, club memberships, things like that. It can be done if you're to a determined person, but generally it's an expensive game. So what made it work for me is I got a job as a greenkeeper, mowing greens through the city of Salt Lake, and they had these municipal network of courses. And so by mowing greens, working at this golf course, I got to play for free. And man, did I use that. I just laughed at golf.
I bet you did. And you would have been foolish not to, for crying out loud. Anyway, we're having a great chat with golf writer extraordinaire Guy Yoakam. Guy, what would you say are the commonalities or the traits of someone that you would consider to be a really good golf writer, such as yourself?
Well, for one, I think they're original thinkers. They kind of go where other people don't go. By that, I mean there's a lot of golf writing, a lot of sports writing, and it sort of can be formulaic. When you read it, just follows an inverted pyramid, if you will, the who, what, where, when, and why. And there's just a certain approach to it that you see really commonly. They tend to ask the same questions. They're sort of looking for the same thing. But the really great golf writers, I mean, guys like Dan Jenkins, Jaime Diaz, there's been a lot of good golf writers. They just sort of approach it. I think they come into things a little bit sideways. They have a really good eye. They're sharp. They see things that other people don't see, and they're curious about aspects of the game and of people that don't always occur to everyone else. They develop an independent, fresh, creative voice. And those are always the people I looked up to. I mean, guys like Dan Jenkins and there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, all good ones. And they've all been former guests here right on the 19th hole. That brings up a question before we take our next break, Guy. As you know, and you know a lot of very well thought of, top-rated golf teachers, many of them have never played professionally. So you don't necessarily have to have played competitively to be a very good golf teacher. Does a golf writer, is it really to his benefit or not, having or still playing the game of golf? Would that give him better insight when he's talking to a tour player, or is that really necessary?
No doubt about it. I think that if you play and are an avid player, and certainly if you've done it for a long time, it definitely is helpful. I mean, Howard Cosell always used to say that there was no advantage. He was never an athlete, and he didn't think it was necessary to be a good athlete for him to speak authoritatively about the sport he was covering. But I just sort of disagree about that. I think that there are things that you absorb playing golf, and there are so many facets to it, and so many things that come through experience that are useful when you go to write about the game or write about people. For one thing, I mean, a great player, if Lee Trevino makes a bogey or if he hits a certain type of shot, if you're observant and you speak his language and you can identify with him having a bad lie or a certain challenge, or just understanding that golfers have ups and downs, if you have that empathy, the subject will recognize that in you. And a lot of times they'll be a lot more forthcoming, and you'll get much more telling material from them.
I agree. That's well said. All right, I'll tell you what, we're going to step away, take another short break. But before we do, we've got another great game and improvement tip from you from Adam Bazalgate before we go to commercial. And then we will see you on the other side with more with our special guest, Mr. Guy Yoakam. So stay tuned.
Hi, Adam Bazalgette here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy for the 19th hole weekend edition with another game tip of the week. Today, let's talk about weight shift in the golf swing. And I'm going to give you 2 tips I think will really help you. Number 1, in your backswing, don't shift weight. Now, certainly as you swing back and your arms pick up momentum and you turn, you'll feel some pressure go into that back leg and a little torque here, but don't move your body from spot A to spot B. You look at the best players, I'm telling you, they are pretty well centered between their feet at the top of the backswing. Next tip, the biggest single challenge I find most people have to getting their weight shifted to the left is excessive thrusting of the hands and arms. People get to the top and they speed that club up and rush it down. That golf club's moving that way as you start down. If you do this, that will push weight down into this foot. You need that split second of patience at the top in order to let yourself start to shift. So number 1, don't shift the weight on the way back. And number 2, leave the club in place for just a split second longer. You'll find it's easy to get that weight transferring to the front foot.
Innovation begins at a single point. Elements, each with their unique character. Fire-forged steel creates unprecedented control. Chemistry delivers a touch so soft, combined to create a level of performance previously unimagined. Like magic, the Elixir, the new tour ball from Encore.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Adam is such a great teacher with Scratch Golf Academy. It's a really pleasure to have him on the show, and he's a great guy as well. So welcome back to More Than 19th Hole, a podcast for golfers brought to you by Encore Golf as well as Golf Boost. If you haven't looked at their app for Golf Boost, it's absolutely amazing. Don't forget Encore Golf. They make the best damn golf balls for the money in golf. And we're having a great discussion with Guy Yoakam, just retired from 3 decades plus with Golf Digest. Guy, you know, and have talked to and have interviewed a number of gals on the LPGA Tour, covered their events, talked to their players. First, what seems to be the problem lately or the last several years with the American players? Because I don't think they're ever going to dominate again on tour. And secondly, what does the LPGA Tour have to do to get the vibe, get the energy, get the spark back into their tour? Because it just seems to be missing.
Well, I don't know if the dearth of American players being consuming a lot of the top 25 places in the world, I don't know if it's due immediately to a shortcoming of American players. What it is just this driving, this incessant, persistent, this desire to be great by the international players, the Asian players especially. I don't. It may be a cultural difference. I think in America there's so many things, so many opportunities of young people to do. Golf isn't the only thing out there. Whereas maybe in like South Korea or there, it's like they choose this one game and they just drive at it. They work so hard at it. There's an obsessiveness in it. They really have a focus and an eye on the prize, the work ethic, the devotion to it that is really something else. It's like a wholesale dedication to the game that the great players tend to have. So what can American players do? It's just that simple, really. They would have to work harder. You would want to see someone utterly obsessed with the game, almost to the exclusion of all other things. A lot of times, players, they deny themselves some of the other fruits in life, relationships, just going to college. I don't think a lot of the international players go to college. They don't take that route. So what can the LPGA do in general? Well, it's a tough road to hoe. I think television exposure is one. Media coverage is not nearly as thorough or as deep as what the men's game gets. It's an old chicken and egg argument. The LPGA and LPGA players would tell you, if you just gave us more publicity, our game would grow. But then the media side would come back and say, well, if you had as many recognizable household names and the achievements were as great, we then would cover it more, and then you would get it that way. So it's like I say, what comes first, the chicken or the egg with that? So, what does the future hold? I think it's hard to tell what any of the future in all of golf is right at this moment. Dennis, I mean, how golf will come when we finally get out of this pandemic.
Yeah.
It just turned everything upside down, and it's really hard to suss out and predict what golf will be like when all this subsides. Will it be business as usual?
True.
Will
True.
coverage again, will it emerge in a different way? We're just not quite sure, right?
True. Do you think that the players both on the LPGA Tour and other tours as well, obviously the mini tours or whatever, and particularly the PGA Tour, do you think the players are affected at all by not having fans on the fairways? Because I don't think so. They're still shooting some damn good scores. Doesn't seem to be bothering them.
I think that's true. No, it's sort of like having the people there. It probably depends on the player. A guy like Arnold Palmer, emotional players who get a lot of gallery support. Arnold told me he felt that it not only gave him energy, he felt that it actually, Arnold Palmer got a lot of good bounces. He was ahead of the game in terms of things like making long, no-brainer putts.
Yeah.
Usually when he hit it along a tree line, it would it would hit a tree, it would bounce back. He felt that the energy from galleries actually kind of had like an almost karma-like influence, that it resulted in good things happening, you know. But then there are other players. So yeah, people would matter to players, to exuberant type people, like Tiger Woods, for example. Other players, not so much. I think there are certain guys out there that probably like not having any fans. You know,
Probably.
it's fans can be a distraction. You know?
No, definitely. They could be a big time distraction. Before we get close to our other break, Guy, let me ask you this. Mike Wan is stepping down. You know Mike Wan. A lot of people think he's done a very credible job. I don't know what lies in store for him in the future, but what would your advice be to the hiring committee as far as who they need to hire for a new commissioner?
Well, Mike Wan was perfect in that job. I think that he was the best commissioner that the LPGA Tour ever had. I think he understood the players. He understood the challenges that they had in terms of exposure, of building a full schedule of events. And I think he navigated some pretty difficult waters. Golf as a whole, in general, you know, TV ratings, sort of the boom that came after, along with Tiger Woods. I think that had chilled out a lot, especially as Tiger sort of was getting hurt a lot and you know, had his scandal, and he just wasn't playing as well the last several years. Some bright spots, but not on the whole. Tiger mania has subsided a little bit. So that affected all. This is true across golf, and it was true with the LPGA as well. And it made their challenge, and it has made their challenges even bigger, I think. So there's no magic button. I don't think a commissioner can come in there. There's no secret sauce. Mike Wan is a smart guy. He was surrounded by good people. He spent all his waking hours thinking of how to make his tour better. And I think he succeeded, but you know, it's almost, you can only squeeze so much out of it, I think, and especially in this environment that we're in. So what I would do is go see if Mike Wan's younger brother is available, and get someone like Mike in that role.
Yeah, no, that's good. I totally agree with everything you said. I think, in my opinion, Guy, it comes down to the product and what you have to work with. But anyway, all right, we're going to step away again, take another short break. And don't forget, when you look at the show on Facebook or YouTube, please subscribe. Please give us a couple of likes. My mom really likes that when she sees it. So stay tuned, and we're going to be back. We're going to finish up with Guy Yoakam.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
Hey golfers, I've been a golf talk show host for a long time, and I've been playing golf even longer. Being in golf media, I've had the chance to play every ball ever made. I've tried them all. Well, my search is finally over because I found the best ball I have ever played with, and more golfers are finding the same thing. I started playing with the Elixir golf ball made by Encore Golf. Encore Golf has revolutionized both their golf balls, the Elixir or the Avant 55, or the brand new Vero X1, to where the performance of either will simply blow you away. It did me. If you're looking for better performance and durability with your ball, Encore Golf has it. Don't just take my word for it. Check them out at encoregolf.com and you'll become convinced, as I am, the first time you tee it up with Encore. It's the best performing ball for the price. Go to encoregolf.com and see for yourself. Your scorers will love you for it. That's ONCORE golf.com. All right, welcome back, everybody. We have a couple of more holes left before we have to finish the show, and having a great conversation with Guy Yoakam. And Guy, you've written 4 books about U.S. Open champions: Johnny Miller, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Corey Pavin, and David Graham. How did you come to select those players? Because obviously there's been a lot more winners in the U.S. Open.
Well, actually, they kind of sought me out, if you will. When players ultimately they write a book. Most of them have, and they get to a point where they will want to tell their story that way, and so their agent typically then will reach out for a writer, that they will hire to help the player, the individual, tell their story. So that's sort of how it happened with me. With Johnny Miller, I wrote his book, I Call the Shots. Johnny, I wrote his column for him, monthly column in Golf Digest, and many other feature stories, a lot of the instruction work he did. And as we went along in that for several years, I compiled just a ton of material that I would get from Johnny. He's a fascinating guy to just sit with, great storyteller and all that.
Yeah.
And not everything just fit for the magazine. And I thought, Johnny, we could put all of this in a book, and it would be duck soup easy to do that. And Johnny went along with that. And so that's how that book got done. The book I did with Jackie Burke, the same way. Same thing with the book we did with Tiger Woods. So sometimes they just sort of happen,
Yeah, it's and they're great. They're still available. How can people get a hold of your books, Guy, if they want to add those? And I highly suggest they do to their golf library. How do they find them?
Well, I guess go on Amazon, right? I haven't written a book now for several years. The last one I wrote was this one. You can see it up there, Secrets of the Short Game. That I wrote it for Phil Mickelson. He did a book and video that went with that, and it's filled with really good instruction with some storytelling in back of that. But there's a great story that goes along with the writing of that Phil Mickelson book, if you'd like to hear it.
Yeah, if it's quick.
Okay. When I went out to see Phil to do the book, just as we were getting started, I brought with Phil some coins, some old Liberty dimes that I had. I collect coins, and my daughter, who had been very ill, had taken these coins and gave them a squeeze and gave them her super secret good luck wish. And I'd known Phil for many years, and he knew that my daughter had been very seriously ill, and he always asked about her. So when I went out to do the book, I handed Phil those coins and said, Phil, here, you got these, and these have Madison's super secret good luck wish. Well, Phil likes curio things like that. He thanked me for them, and he stuck them in his pocket, and that was it. We spent a few days doing the book, and that was it. Well, I didn't see Phil again for like 4 more months. I saw him just after the Masters tournament. And Phil had won that Masters. This is the 2006 Masters. And I saw him in the locker room at Colonial. That was the next place he played. And I didn't see Phil. He saw me. I was walking across there, and he said, "Hey, Guy." He turned around and he waved me over. And he said, "Dude, I marked my ball at the Masters with those coins that I got from Madison." He said, "I made everything. Those things are never leaving my back, leaving my pocket." And he signed a glove and said, "Please give Madison my
What
best."
a great story.
And and here 15 years later, my boss was out playing in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and he played in the final round with Phil. He was the amateur player, my boss. And there he is. And Phil said, "How's Guy doing? I haven't talked to him." Well, and Jerry Tardy said, "Oh, he's doing fine." And Phil said, he went to his bag and he said, "Do you see these?" And he pulled out those coins. He still marks his ball with those coins.
Wow, what
that my
a great
daughter
story.
drew. Super good
What
luck.
what an absolutely great story that's phenomenal. Don't kill me, but I'm up against another hard break, real short one. Then we'll come back and then thank you formally for being on the show. So we're going to be right back.
One of the buzzwords happening in golf is the word lag. You hear it all the time, but what is it, and how do I get it? Lag simply is the loading of the club to help produce tons of power in your golf swing. Up until now, getting lag into your swing has been very hard. Introducing the Lag Shot, a brand new proven training aid being praised by some of the leading PGA Tour instructors across the globe. This practice aid trains your hands, arms and body how to make a powerful, efficient golf swing with an amazing amount of lag. Lag Shot is a 7-iron length club with the same loft and lie with a whippy, flexible blue shaft and a beautiful jet black club head. After you master the Lag Shot, your game will change forever with a stress-free swing, more power and more distance with lower scores every time you play. Go to lagshotgolf.com and you'll see why this truly is becoming the #1 training aid in golf. Visit lagshotgolf.com.
When it comes to golf, I'm a man of few words, as you'll see. Looking for out-of-this-world technology in your golf ball? Encore Golf. Looking for exceptional performance and durability? Encore Golf. Looking for the best performing ball for the price? Encore Golf. Check them out at Encore Golf, that's ONCORE golf.com. Your scores will thank you. All right, I said short and sweet, and that's what it was. And we're going to finish up right now with Guy Yoakam. And speaking of books, Guy, did you not get my address? Because I haven't gotten a damn inscribed book from you. I mean, what's up with that? I'll be happy to pay you for them, for a couple, to add to my library.
No, man, you're on the VIP list with me. You send me the address. You must have typed my email address wrong, because you're first in line.
Oh, you are so sweet. You okay? I will. I'd love to get one or two from you with a nice inscription. Oh,
we're the best.
You are so good. So now that you are retired, congratulations. How much golf are you going to play, and what the hell are you going to do?
I don't know. I think retired is probably exaggerated. I've been away for like 2 months, and I'm quietly going insane here. There's not a lot to do in the pandemic. I live in Connecticut. I don't live in that little bit of paradise you call Las Vegas. And so, I'm going to have to do something to stop myself from going nuts. And golf's definitely on the agenda there.
Yeah.
As soon as it warms up just a skosh.
You're out here. And I told you, I'd love for you to come out, love to go out and play some golf with you anytime you want. You got some time now, and the invitation is always open. But I tell you what, Guy, thank you so much for great insight, great information, for spending the time. I've got to have you back sooner than later because there's so much more I want to get into with you and ask you. So we definitely have to have you back sooner than later, if that's okay with you.
Sure thing, buddy. I love it. You know the game. You got the heart of a golfer, and I'll tell you what, you got some good pipes too. You're like a gifted golf writer. God gives you that voice, those sonorous, wonderful tones you've got. So, love being on your show.
I appreciate it. Anyway, stay well. My best to you, my best to your family. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon again.
Thanks, pal. See you soon.
You got it. All right, that Guy Yoakam, just a wonderful guy and a great writer. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the 19th Hole, a podcast for golfers. Again, please, if you like us, give us a like on YouTube and share it and Facebook and all that stuff. And we'll be back next week with another great show. So until then, keep it in the short stuff, fairways and greens. Stay safe. We'll see you again. So long, everybody.